All right, welcome back, everybody. This is the Small Towns, Big People podcast. We're excited to do our first interview show. I'm going to interview Kyle today. He's over there. And we're just going to kind of go through our format and test it out with each one of us. We're in a limo right now. Our platform to do all these interviews is going to be here in this limo for going to places. So we know people are busy, so we're going to try to meet them where they're at to be able to do these interviews and not take up too much time. Although we've wasted I don't know how long today trying to get this figured out. Okay, so did I miss anything in our intro?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool. So again, this is an interview show. So we're going to talk about Kyle today. He is a realtor here up in the Northwoods, doing a lot of business over just north of Green Bay area. So Kyle, you want to give us an intro on you and tell us a little about what you do? And
yeah, first, thank you for Sweet Rides for letting us use the limo and doing some cool stuff. And I, like Joe said, I'm a real estate agent and broker with Big Woods Realty over in Marinette County. We service Marinette, O'Connell, Forest, Florence, kind of a big area over there because it's not super populated. So we have to kind of spread out and travel a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But it's where, I think it's more fun to work in a diverse area like that, where one day you'll be showing a $500,000 lake home and the next day you'll be walking 20 acres of swamp for helping somebody find their deer hunting parcel.
How long have you been doing this?
5 years. I've had my license for 5 years. I've been full-time for about 4.5 of that.
Nice. Are you just a realtor or are you a broker too?
I'm a Wisconsin and Michigan broker now. I got my Michigan broker's license this year, and I got my Wisconsin broker's license about 2 years ago.
Awesome. And what's your relationship to Big Woods Realty?
So starting this year, I'm now the associate broker. So I help with the new agent onboarding and training and taking a little bit more of some supervisory roles with helping other agents with their questions.
Cool. Okay. So tell us about your market. Tell us about competitors in the market. What are you who are you serving and who else is doing that, and how do you differentiate yourselves a little bit?
Yeah, our market's pretty cool. And I think it's very unique because we are challenged with Green Bay being so close and there being so many agents in that market that are willing to travel for the prices that we're getting now in our market. For a long time, they weren't willing to drive up for an $80,000 sale. It wasn't worth their time. But now it's kind of caught up. So we're seeing a lot of that. I think the cool part that we do that is very different than anybody else is we are the largest independently owned non-franchise in Marinette County. So we're family owned by Nate Gamblin, and he has kept it independent, and it allows us to be flexible with changes, be flexible to our customers' needs. We don't have a corporate structure that we have to answer to. We don't have guidelines or anything like that are set in stone, which fits me very, very well.
Yeah.
I don't like the rules.
Corporate America.
Corporate rules. Yeah. I'm not going to wear a blue polo because I work for Coldwell or whatever. Yeah. So that's been awesome working in that type of environment. Our market, as far as real estate goes, is mostly vacation and second homes. We do serve like Crivets and Wasaki and Marinette, of course, where there are a lot of permanent homes in those areas. But I would say 70% of our market is all the vacant land or recreational type properties.
Yeah, and vacant land, you said you do a lot of vacant land.
Yeah, I being an avid hunter and outdoorsman, I love the vacant land stuff, so I gravitate naturally to that. But the deer hunting and whether you want to just put trails in and walk, it's fun for me. I enjoy really helping people find that because it's a big dream for a lot of people to have a 5 or 10 acre piece or 100 acre piece.
Awesome. Okay, and so how busy? Let's see, how busy are you, or Like, what does an annual sale look like to you? How much stuff are you kind of, maybe I'm jumping ahead here on this one, but
Well, we've been averaging about 53, 54 sides a year since I've went full time.
and what's the side again?
The side is when an agent helps a buyer or a seller. So each one of those is a side.
So there's two sides to every transaction.
Correct. Yep. So we've been doing about 50, mid 50s. Our high being, I think, 59. This year we're sitting a little lower. Our sides have been down, but our dollar amount sold is way higher. So our average side per side has gone way up with the craziness or timing, I guess, with what properties we're just working on. So our goal is always in that 50s for sides, and to try to increase, 3% every year, 5% every year, just make little gains over the long term. So that's what we really focus on is sides. How many people we get to help in a year.
Okay. So I think that does tie into kind of how do you measure success in the business? Like, you're doing your sides is a good quick metric to see, like, hey, did we hit our numbers or not? But what are you looking at as far as how do you measure success with what you're doing?
From a personal standpoint, it's sides. That's all I look at. If you do sides, take care of people, the money follows. The gross commission, some people track gross commission or volume, like how many millions of dollars did I sell this year? I don't care. If I help 55, 60 people every single year, my bank account's going to look awesome. And I'm going to have 55 or 60 people that are super happy. If for some reason I can't make everybody happy, can't get glowing reviews, it happens. But in general, I would say we're high 90s with happiness and satisfaction at the end of a deal. So that's how we really measure it, is if they're super happy with the choice of using us through the process, and if we can make their life easier, that's what we strive for.
Yeah, I always struggle with that outside people's opinion as a metric. Like, to me, it's hard to make everybody happy, and that 5% that is unhappy, like, it just ruins my day. But what else? Like, you've talked about some personal, like, why you do what you do. You wanna, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I actually got my real estate license because I was getting into investing a little bit more seriously, and I hated paying commissions when I felt like I was doing all the work. I didn't know how much work was behind the scenes. And
now there isn't much, right?
On some deals there's not. Some deals it's like, wow, why can't they all be this way? Right. But you more than make up for it on others. But being able to learn that and know fully, when I dive into something, I want to know everything about it, or as much as I can. And if I can do it and be really good at it, I don't want to pay other people to do it. I want to take over and do it the way I want to. I was actually working in transportation at a trucking company in the office, and this was just my side hustle type thing. And it got so busy, I just had to pick one. So quit my job, started doing this, and I found I absolutely love the puzzles that come with real estate. How do you get a deal that's going to fall apart back together? How do you manage expectations throughout? How do you deal with such an array of personalities and expectations and keep them in check, like, so you can work as a team through the problems? And that is so fun. To do that. Because a house is a house is a house. They're all the same, essentially, but it's the people and the outside vendors and the stuff that you can't control, and how do you make the situation work? And that's fun.
Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to the next part here. All right, let's talk about finances. How are you managing company finances? What software, what accounting, how do you do taxes? Do you have a budget? All those financial questions that when you're running a business, you got to pay attention to it. but nobody really likes to do those parts.
Yeah, I manage more of what comes in. Krista manages more of what goes out. I don't
Okay.
know the last time I paid a bill. She takes care of it.
And Krista's your wife.
She is.
And she's also an agent?
She is. She's a teammate, so we work as a husband-wife team.
Okay.
A couple years ago, I convinced her to quit her job and her real job and start doing real estate, and it's been amazing because I was working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and now we can both work that 30 to 50 hours a week and really have the balance of family time and stuff like that that we need. But she handles the bill paying. She handles Canva designing our business cards and our signs and our marketing and our riders and postcards, all that stuff, which is great.
Is she on social media as well?
She does all of our Facebook now, so I don't have to, which is amazing. She also handles, like I said, all them bill pays, all those expenses that come out. She takes care of that, and she works directly with our accountant to manage our payroll and manage all that stuff. We don't have a formal budget. We know what we input back as far as closing gifts and postcards, and so we buy certain amounts of that every year, but we don't have a budget that we go off of at all. We work more in percentages of what we bring in.
Okay. So what was your break even? So if you did how many sides to break even to make sure that you made your base cost, you made your base pay, and you're good to go for the year, how many sides do you have to do?
Yeah, 30 sides a year gives us enough to live on personally and grow the business and like maintain the business and keep being full-time real estate agents.
And 30 sides, so then anything over 30 sides, so your budget is kind of like 30 sides, and anything more than I can get that, then we're doing better than I have to be, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And so if percentages and all those numbers change sometime, your side number would go up, but you're kind of just basing off that, and then you found a good woman to take care of all of the rest of your life for you, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yes, she's awesome.
Yep. So that's the key in all business, is to just get your wife to do all the stuff that you don't want to do. Yep, I like it.
I think it's the stuff that she's better at.
Yeah,
we've really found
100%.
Where she doesn't like to call leads, right? Like the new leads that we haven't worked with. It's weird. It's hard. It's probably the hardest thing for a real estate agent to adjust to. And she just doesn't care for it. She's really good at it.
Yeah.
But if she does the social media, I'll handle more leads, and we just kind of hand stuff off back and forth.
Cool.
She's the reason she's sitting in the office right now working, and I can be over here doing a podcast.
You can come do a podcast. Yeah, so, awesome. Yep. Yeah, my dad always said, you can tell you got a good wife when you put her to work when the kids leave and you can retire. So he liked that. I don't know. So no budget, but you do have some metrics to go off of that are pretty much, they're kind of related to a budget. And you showed me a little bit of a budget a week ago or so, but so a lot of businesses go through and they get business loans, SBA, personal loans, whatever, right? So did your business take on any debt to do what you're doing?
No. So when we had this as a side hustle, every closing we did 5 prior to me going full time. And
you did 5 closings before you went full time into real estate?
No.
Okay.
In the first 5 months, I think we had our license. We just from friends, family, different things. We took every single commission check and put it back into the business. So need a laptop, bought a laptop. Needed software, bought the software. Like all of that money, we just went into business expenses because we had jobs. Right. I don't think any realtor should ever take out a loan to get started. It's a lot of money. I'm not going to say it's not. It's $3,000 to $5,000 to really get going with the licensing and the testing and all that stuff. But there's no time limits. You can do it
Yeah.
Once you start, just do it, and you can do that, and get going. And I read a ton of blogs and a ton of columns and advice and this and that. And everything said, oh, don't expect any closings in your first year, expect to lose money, expect to do this. And I'm like, why would I get into a business where I'm going to lose money?
I know. I mean, that drives me nuts. They have this rule like, oh, you start a new business, you're not going to make any money for the first 5 years, right? It's all going to go back into business or go to whatever. And so you need a loan to operate your business for the first 5 years so you make money. Well, oh my goodness, I haven't done a single business that's the case, right?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. But now you do also do rentals, right?
we didn't have anyone when we started. We had sold them, the ones we had previously.
Mhm.
So that has all come from, since we've been realtors, licensees.
Okay.
All our current holdings.
And so do you buy houses with cash, or do you finance any of your real estate?
We do finance the real estate purchases. That is the only debt we carry. And we typically finance 50 to 70%. So we do maybe more non-typical down payments of larger percentages, just to hedge against any downturns or
interest rate hike,
yeah,
like just happened recently.
Yep. So we just don't want to carry that much debt. So it's a little slower going, but our rentals aren't maybe targeted for income now. They produce, but it's not our biggest goal. Our biggest goal is 3 to 5 years. What's that look like? How many can we get in the next 3 years? How much? Where are we at 5 years and 10 years? And it replaces all income. Like that's our goal, is to have those properties paid off in our name, debt free. In the long term.
Yeah. I mean, taking on debt and stuff. In my opinion, the SBA is a horrible option to go with. Like the SBA, I feel like is taking over America through the loans. A huge government takeover just by getting people to sign the document. They'll give them, like during Rona, they were giving every company, they could give you like $1 to $4 million to make it through Rona. Oh my goodness, that is ridiculous. But then you have to pay that back, and that's a huge burden. You got to do how many houses would you have to sell to pay back $4 million loan?
Well, and
every year.
I do know some agents that did take it and got it forgiven.
Oh my goodness, and then got it forgiven. Great.
So I know there's one agent, not in our office, but she bought her office building, got it for free.
Oh my goodness.
I know, and I'm with you. I'm a huge believer that the last time I took a free lunch was with an Army recruiter.
It was terrible too, wasn't it?
It cost me 5 years of my life. So
yep.
And there's no such thing as a free lunch, especially when it comes to the government. There's always a hook. There's always a catch.
Yeah.
And
if you read the SBA loan paperwork, those catches are everywhere,
which nobody does.
And even after you pay the loan off, 7 years after the loan's paid off, you're still under their contract. It never runs away. It never goes away. It's always there. Anyways, so okay, we're gonna transition here a little bit into a discussion about residual income. Okay, so in my opinion, unless you are like Mitt Romney and have just millions and millions of dollars in the bank account, you can't rely on a large sum of money to give you essentially freedom. And so in my mind, residual income is freedom, because residual income is you put a bunch of effort in now, and then over the long run, it continues to pay you back dividends. And hopefully you can run it. A lot of people build their whole life to build that 401k big enough so that they can live off of it, right? Mm-hmm. And that is residual income, but is there ways to build residual income faster, quicker, smarter, like before you're old and can't enjoy it, right? So let's talk about a little bit about residual income, and how does your business structure itself to build residual income, and could you manage your business? Well, we'll get to that question in a minute. Is your business structured around the residual income idea? How could you do it? Or what are you doing to build that residual income?
So for a real estate agent or broker that doesn't own the firm, I don't see a way to get truly residual income. When you retire, you got some referrals and you got this and you got that you can continue to make some income, but and you can do it from anywhere, but it's not consistent and it's not substantial. We have shifted into the rental properties. That's our goal for residual income, and that's our goal for retirement, is to own things that pay us. Houses do that. We don't have super good options in our area for property management. And we don't want to pay the percentages right now at the scale we are. So we're managing them ourselves. Being a real estate agent in the market helps because we know the plumbers, we know the electricians, we know the people that we're going to have to get to fix stuff. So that is a little more time, like you said. Now, in the future, we 100% plan to be at that 10, 15, 20 units, have a property management company, take care of it, and we do whatever we want. It's just not there yet. And so that's kind of the goal for us personally. Now,
how long do you think it's going to take you to get to that point? What's your rough gut feel for getting there? How long?
2 more years till we don't have to work.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of, we do it because we want to. We're kind of there now. Like, we've been really disciplined with debt. And I think, that everybody always talks about revenue and cash flow and all this. I think the flip side is, if you can control your debt well,
yep,
it allows you more freedoms to buy that rental house or buy that 100 acres of land or whatever you want, because if the debt is low enough, you can do it.
See, that's a really hard idea for me. Not the debt, but the spend less. So when I was first getting started with everything, like Dave Ramsey, cut everything out, live like no one else, so you can live like no one else. That's a great idea, but like at some point you can't cut things out. You can only cut so far. And so I found that cutting and cutting and cutting, that's nice, but like, you can only suffer for so long before it ends up taking a toll, just like debt does. And so like building that income, like you're saying on the rental properties, taking the money you're making on real estate, putting it into something that's residual, beautiful, right? And we all can't run a business residually. We all can't have that opportunity because like everything isn't residual. But we can all roll that into things. You can roll it into the stock market. You can roll it into real estate. You can roll it into, or you can also, in some cases, if you own that business, you can structure it in a way that other people do the work. You organize it, drive it, lead it, and that can potentially be residual. Although it's much harder, a lot more moving pieces to make those kind of things work.
Yeah, and I agree with you 99%. I think the part that people miss is, Dave, you're right. You can't be making hundreds of thousands of dollars and investing smartly and live like you're making 30 grand a year. Like, it gets to you after a point.
You can do that for like a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, but like, man,
I think the part that everybody like Dave misses, or that I haven't heard him really expand on, is you have to invest while you're doing that. Like, he's so get that debt gone. Well, what if you paid it down halfway and invested half? Like, there's ways to do it. And I think if you invest smartly while keeping the debt down, I'm very fortunate. I could care less what I'm driving. So cars have no impact on me. It's one of our biggest expenses after our houses.
Mm-hmm. Yep, for sure.
And my cars, both of my vehicles, have been paid for since 2016.
Yeah.
And I'm going to drive them until they literally die.
Yeah. But you're going to have to fix them too. I always looked at that whole idea of the car loan. It's almost like just a monthly maintenance. We don't have I don't have any car loans at all. And we've gotten away from that because that also gets you in a trap. Like, I'm a big fan of not having any of that debt. But yeah, you don't have to drive something fancy. You just need to be able to get to somewhere.
Reliable. Yep.
Right. Yep.
100%.
The other problem with new cars, I have children. I had parked my red truck right over here. Day 2 after we got out, I put a bunch of 2x4s and I told my kids, jump in, hey, get those 2x4s out. They took them, they scraped them down the side of my new truck, put great big scratches and the whole thing. Like, don't have to worry about that if you don't buy a new truck.
100%.
Yep.
You should just walk out and hit it with a hammer the first day.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Yep. Like, nope, this is a truck. It's okay.
But I just think being disciplined in that stuff and being realistic, it's funny that I've met a lot of really wealthy people through real estate that'll show up in like a $30,000 car. You know, and it's a nice car, but it's not a BMW. It's not a Lexus. It's not a 3/4 ton diesel, whatever top of the line Dodge has.
A brand new truck right now costs, the top of the line, top model costs like between $100,000 and $110,000 for a truck.
Yep.
I mean, again, if you're running a business and you take a truck loan, that's like what, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month, depending on your terms. That that's $50,000 a year going into this truck for 4 years, and it was a $100,000 truck. So you just paid $200,000 for that truck over the next 4 years, and you're crippling your business. You're crippling your opportunities. You can't take that money, put it back into somewhere where it counts. You got a status symbol, and if that's what you want, great. But that's not how to get there. That's not how to make it residual. That's not. I mean, if you got $200,000 laying around, buy the truck for $100,000 if that's what you have to have.
Yep.
Great. Okay. All right. So thinking about this is one of those how to turn your business into a residual business. This idea, I've asked a few people this. How do you take what you're doing now in your business, your company, whatever, and do everything that needs to be done in 5 hours a week? What would you have to change? How would you have to do things different to make the same amount of money, but to only have to put in 5 hours a week?
The only...
You have to get 2 more wives, right?
Or 3.
Yeah.
In real estate, there's some cool business models. Like EXP is no brick and mortar, franchises. It's not really franchisees. You just sign up. It's weird commission splits. Brokers are all over. It's kind of different, but the founders are loaded and they don't work very much, right? Because they get a cut of everybody. Every agent in the U.S. pays them a little bit.
Yeah.
Keller Williams. Gary Keller is doing pretty well for himself, and he doesn't work a whole lot in real estate anymore by selling franchises. If you own
I get that idea, but what I'm talking more about is just you individually, you as a person. Is there a way that you could do that
without building a team? I don't think so. Just because of the people aspect. In sales, you've got to be contacting and interacting with people all the time. Now, if you had a team of 5 or 6, 7 agents doing all that, and you spent your 5 to 10 hours a week training them and helping them be better, you absolutely could. You could force multiply out that way. But to me, the downside of real estate teams is, why are you paying me part of your commission when you can do it all yourself?
Yeah, when you're doing it all, not doing anything and just training, right?
Like, I can give you all this information for free, and so can hundreds of blogs and books. Why would you pay me that percentage?
Yeah, I've struggled with that idea as well. Like, if everybody else is doing the work, what am I doing? And I find that the value comes in with organization and understanding and vision and saying, here, this is where we're going, right? But it also has to be the goal. It has to be the dream. Like, there's more than just, you're working this because you're wanting to help people, and like, that's kind of the end goal. So like, why would you want to farm that out? It's really hard. But in my opinion, to turn a business residual, you have to have this 5-hour work week mentality. But if you don't want to turn the business residual and you have different options and avenues to get there, great, right? It doesn't really apply, but I like the idea of this 5-hour work week. Doesn't mean you only work 5 hours a day or a week, but it means that everything is planned out organized. If something horrible happened, you got it done, the business runs, you're still going, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the idea behind that. But okay, one more. Okay, I think we're ready to the next section, unless you had any other thoughts or things. What does your business need to do better? Improvement opportunities, better places to go. How are you growing? What challenges are you currently facing? Any of those kind of things.
So our biggest goal every year from a growth standpoint and do better standpoint is always follow up and communication. In the people business, like I said, I could put you on automated feeds, send you every house that fits your thing. I can do all that stuff. But in today's mobile consumer who's on Zillow and Realtor and every other website in the world looking at houses, the days of having your go-to agent who sends you houses when they come available because nobody else can see them is really gone.
Mm-hmm.
So just being available, being responsive, continually educating yourself on the current market conditions, not just financially, but like what's out there. So when somebody calls you, you can answer their questions without having to do a bunch of research, and knowing that is our constant goal of improvement. Like that's our constant area is that. And how do you stay top of mind in a world when there's more agents now than there's ever been?
Yeah, and how do you not become a chat bot?
Yes.
Like, chat bots are horrible. And how do you differentiate yourself from the person that just sent your phone number to an automated machine and that's going to hit you up and not care about anything? Like, I think that's a huge win there.
Yeah, and being available. It sounds so easy, but just answering your phone. There's, you get a phone call at 7:30 in the morning. I don't want to answer it. Like nobody does.
Yeah.
You're getting the kids ready for school. You're doing stuff, but hey, I'm not at the office yet. Can I give you a call back at 9? Just something simple like that it's gone a long ways, I think, with our lead cultivation and helping people build trust. The other thing is, I personally make it a goal to do this in a legal and ethical way because I'm constrained by industry standards. Is how do I scream from the rooftops? Be careful which agent you go with. And I know there are unethical agents. I know there are unqualified agents. But by pointing that out without concrete, absolute evidence, I violate ethics laws and rules. But they're there. When you see that the national statistics are 5 sides per year for a realtor, that's the average, 5 sides. I did that last week. Right? Like 5 people they've helped in a year. That's the average for all NAR members. Be very careful who you pick. Talk to them, get a good feel for them, what they've done, how they can help you. Because it is a very, very important decision in your life on who's helping you through that. And it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars and a lot of headaches.
So how do you differentiate yourself from those people? How do you market that? How do you tell people, or how do you show people that?
That's the hard thing. How do you do it in a humble way without bragging? Like that's always the constant struggle between me and Krista with our marketing, because I don't care. I want to shout from the rooftops that we're the number 1 team in Marinette County, and we're doing this and we're doing that. We whatever statistics we can pull where we're winning in the numbers games.
And you see that all over Wausau. You'll see the billboard winning team was, and it's a different group every 3 months that's taken over Wausau or whatever. But
I think,
can you believe any of that?
Correct. And then you read the disclaimer per what?
Oh, they paid $500 a month to put that on that billboard.
Well, and then
great.
We see agents in our market that Tom Ferry number top blah blah blah. You got to pay Tom Ferry to be part of his thing, so you're paying for a statistic. Like pound sand. We see people that run teams and put themselves as co-listing agents on every one, so they get credit for that sale, even though they didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. Like that's not your number. So those inflated marketing things, we try to avoid, and we try to just be as honest and have the most integrity that we can with people. And it backfires sometimes when you tell somebody an honest opinion on their market value of their property, and then somebody else comes in and tells them it's 75,000 more, and it's like, well, I can be wrong, but I'm never have been $75,000 wrong. You know what I mean? Like, so battling that is probably the biggest personal struggle I have, because I don't like to see people do things that are hurting them in the long run via unethical business practices by somebody in my profession.
Okay. Let's see. We talked a lot about how are you kind of market conditions around a lot of this. How are you, what things are you doing this year that have helped you overcome some of those challenges?
I got into Big Woods Realty accidentally. So Nate sold us our hunting land before I had my license. There were some errors in the listing. Easements weren't where they said they were, this and that. He helped us fix it. He gave us points of contact. He stood behind his work. He wasn't even our agent. He was the listing agent, and he still helped us. So when we decided to go there, it just happened. Him and Pam Paulson were kind of the two most senior agents in the firm, and they preached and harped about doing things consistently. So even when things are good, you still do the fundamental things, and then it'll work when it's good, bad, or indifferent. You just always have business. You always show up. You always be consistent in the office. You always answer your phone. You send your postcards. You send expired letters. You do those old school kind of things that as soon as business is good, most agents or people put it away. So I've just always done that. One day a week when I'm in the office, I send all my expired letters. We send postcards quarterly or biannually, and we just do some of those things all the time, and that has, I think, been the difference, because it's 5 years now of us doing those things with getting our pictures and our name out there in the market, where we didn't have to do it before.
Did I hear you say before that you actually call people on like a 1-year anniversary or a periodic time frame?
Yeah, so our CRM puts home sale anniversaries and dates into our calendar and stuff. So we'll follow up, we'll text, we'll call, we'll send emails asking how they're doing.
And not a bot. It's you
us.
Guys actually like picking up the phone, texting that person.
Yeah, so we took all that automated communication away. The only thing that is an automatic, we have an automatic responder on our Facebook, just to let people know we'll look at it, we'll get to you. So even our newsletters, Crystal puts our little newsletter together and sends it out to our email list. It's not just crappy template. She'll throw stuff together. She throws together our Facebook post. It's not, we don't pay a service to give us.
You don't use a chat bot to auto write all of your advertising for you?
No, we don't even use AI to do our property descriptions. So I think it's fake. I'm a big believer in underselling and under promising and over delivering versus using AI filters on all my pictures. You walk into a house and they're like, oh, the pictures made it look so much nicer. And you're done. You're done right there. So you sell what it is and be honest with people, and it seems to work pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Really good, man. Okay, so we're gonna move on to a section of our interview. So we like to hear from guys, talk to them, and we also want to challenge them to be better. And so we're hoping that when we challenge Kyle here, that Kyle's gonna listen to it, take it for what it's worth, and then go out and do something with it, hopefully. And we'd love to hear back 6 months later if there's any changes or anything happens from that. But so we're gonna kind of go into a challenge section here, and then we're gonna wrap it up and call it done. So from everything I've been hearing, right, Kyle, you're doing really well. You've got a really good head on your shoulders. You're really paying attention to the market, to your customers, to all those things, right? Those are really good things. And I love the consistency idea. The only thought is that put consistency to your budget, right? Develop your budget. It doesn't have to consume your life, right? We don't need to spend 10 hours a day on a budget. We don't need to spend 1 hour a day on a budget. We just need a budget to tell our money where to go rather than letting our money go wherever it wants, and I don't think this is a huge problem. I don't think you and Krista are having issues with this at all, but I think that you will be a little bit more successful with a written, understood budget that both of you understand. And I kind of feel like you guys talk about it so much that it's kind of just on your mind, but everything that I talk about to other people, I forget. Like this interview, I'm probably going to forget we did an interview by tomorrow. Okay. And for me, writing it down is the only thing that keeps me consistent. Right. So that's my big challenge to you is get your budget written so that money is consistent. And then one smaller challenge that I had was building residual income. Very cool, very good, awesome. Real estate is great. Rentals is really good. However, the market right now is terrible. And so don't let yourself get in that, it's been 2 years and we haven't bought those last couple rentals. I just got to do it, No. Stay disciplined, buy the ones that make you money, right? That's the goal, right? What gets you to that goal? And if nothing shows up in real estate for the next 2 years, don't feel like you have to pursue that. I find so many people when building residual income, they're like, well, geez, I haven't bought anything for 6 months. I better just buy something. And I've even felt that too. Like, man, geez, I don't know. I guess it's time. We just, okay, go buy something. Like, no, don't do that. It's almost always a bad deal, right? So don't let, but I also encourage you, like, the sooner you can get to residual income, covering all your bases, the better, the more breathable, that's a nice feeling. And so don't let yourself forget that, but don't let yourself overcommit and buy something that you shouldn't have bought.
No, that's great advice, because I know we were pretty close to a duplex, and we ran the numbers, came up with our number, put our offer in, multiple offers came in, it was going back and forth. And we were considering, like, well, we could raise it. Like the depreciation will offset this, and this will happen. And then we slept on it, and we woke up and we were like, no. Yeah. Like, that's our best offer. Yeah. Let's leave it.
Awesome.
And we lost the house and whatever. Yep. Like, I know whoever bought it is not going to make a dime on it. Like, it's impossible.
Unless they pay cash.
Nope. They used an FHA loan. I waited for it to close.
FHA loan. Oh my goodness. Another horrible government takeover.
So I was like, okay, they're done. Yeah. Like, that. Good for them for trying, and I hope it works for them. But I can't get that math to work. Yep. So
that's awesome, man. I mean, it's really good to be disciplined and not just jump into stuff because you feel like you have to. That's a huge problem. Like, so many guys in real estate I know, and I've bought most of the stuff that's been foreclosed on because they couldn't do it. They couldn't handle it. I bought a ton of that stuff. Ugh, don't let yourself fall into that. So those are my 2 challenges. Go back here. Okay, so last little part of this is before our wrap up is just an open mic here for Kyle to promote himself, his business, sell some stuff. He's got t-shirts to sell or whatever, right? So go for it, Kyle. Open mic here.
I should have a t-shirt with my face on it.
You should.
2 thumbs.
Yeah. Yep.
What has 2 thumbs and sells a lot of real estate? This guy.
That's good.
No, if you have questions about real estate, feel free to look me up, me and Krista on Facebook, Kyle and Krista at Big Woods. I love talking through real estate. You don't have to be a client. You don't have to be a customer. I will try to help you, point you in the right direction. If you are looking or know somebody looking for vacation homes, hunting land, anything, I love talking about it. Give us a call. We try to help however we can. It's an amazing tool to create wealth. It is an amazing piece of security for your family. So we always love helping people with their real estate needs. And if you buy from me, or have bought from me in the past, and you haven't sent me any deer pictures or anything that you've gotten off the land, you can start doing that. I'm always down for that stuff too. But anybody at Big Woods can help you out. We're a great little independent firm, and I think we have a great bunch of agents that are really trying to help people up in the Northwoods.
Awesome. Sweet. Okay. And that shirt, we'll let you know when that shirt comes out. We are all done with our first interview, and I'm supposed to do a final wrap up. I'm really terrible with this part. You're supposed to like us, subscribe. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're going to expand this. Obviously, we've got a lot of work to do to improve how we do these things. There's our first one in a limo. That presented a bunch of challenges, but over time, we're going to get better, and we're really excited to bring a bunch of different people in our areas that are doing really cool things to you guys. And another aspect of this interview program is we're kind of talking through different steps of how to run a successful business. So you've heard a bunch of tips on how Kyle's doing his stuff, and he's pretty successful. So if you want to be successful, do some of those things Kyle's doing, right? If you want to be successful, listen to these interview shows and learn some stuff about a whole bunch of different businesses, and then start your own, and you'll kind of have a leg up, hopefully, right? There's lots of different companies, lots of different podcasts, lots of different people doing this kind of stuff, but we're focused on just local people, local area, talking about how they're making wins. Maybe it won't always be a business. Maybe it'll be, a pastor or some invention or a gamer or, something that's going on. And, but we're pretty excited, and these interview shows should help you think through things the right way and build a better business. So again, like us on Facebook, watch us on YouTube, and send any comments or suggestions that you have. Like, we're not doing it perfect, obviously, guys. Something you want to see different, something you want to see better, let us know. I think I'm rambling now, and people are getting annoyed with me.
I was just going to let you go.
You were going to let me go. Yeah, that's terrible. One other thing, if you would like to be on the show, if you've got ideas for the show that we could, people we could bring in and interview, love to see it. Send us some comments, put it on Facebook or YouTube, or just email Kyle or me. I guess our emails aren't out there, are they? On your Facebook, and we'll put some of that out there as well, so you can get in touch with us. But we will read the comments, and thanks for listening. Again, this has been fun. Thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Joe.
Have a good one.
You too.
Oh man, I really hope that it works.